with World Cup coverage on the Sports Spotlight YouTube channel, as well as Radio Azad, radioazad.us, our Facebook feed, as well as YouTube feed. So, yeah, check us out. I'm your host, Rizwan, and with me on the airwaves of Radio Azad, I've got my good buddy and a wonderful sports brain. Have you ever been referred to as the brain, Manny? Manny from Kansas City. Good morning. How you doing, man?
Happy Father's Day, my friend. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. Happy Father's Day to you. To uh, I said this earlier this morning in a group of friends. Said Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and all the children of fathers. I think that pretty much covers
Right.
everyone, right?
It does.
All right. Let me see. I think your audio feed appears to be a little low. All right. You should be good moving forward. All right, Manny, welcome. It is absolutely insane, insane. Uh, the World Cup fever that has taken over the nation. Are you feeling it? I know you've always been a soccer fan, so you've always been excited about the World Cup. But there is something different in the air. Of course, we're the host nation, so that makes a difference. But all of a sudden, everybody's a fan. What are you seeing out there?
I'm loving the expanded tournament, right? You're getting a lot of teams that maybe otherwise wouldn't get a chance. So yeah, it's been really exciting. All the host nations, U.S., Canada, Mexico, are going through to the next round, and a lot of upsets. But what about Messi? Man, we could talk about Argentina all day.
All
You
right.
know,
Well, maybe not all day, but let's start. I want to hear your thoughts on what he's shown so far and what that means moving forward.
listen, if there was one knock on Messi until last tournament, the one in 2022, was he never won the World Cup.
Mhm.
Now he's won that, and he had never had a hat trick. Now he has that, and he might even break the all-time World Cup record. So it's going down as the ultimate career for him, especially if he can get to the final. I mean, Argentina's looking really, really good.
Yeah. Look, they are the defending champs, and there is something to be said, right? There is absolutely something to be said about all the pressure of winning the ultimate championship for for an all-time great. And that pressure can get you. I mean, a lot of the all-time greats, your guy LeBron James, it took him 7 years. Michael Jordan, it took him 8 years, 6 years, 6 or 8 years, in the 96 years. 6 years it took him to win. A lot of losing, right? Josh Allen is going through that right now. It's very rare that the all-time greats have success right off the bat. So that pressure can build. And there is something to be said about being able to get that monkey off your back, not feel the pressure, and just let your greatness do your thing. And I think that's where Messi is now. Now that he's got a championship under his belt.
Yeah, you know who's got all the pressure on him though? His counterpart, Ronaldo. I mean, he is really struggling. He's had that monkey on his back. Portugal's never won a World Cup, and he's been so dominant. So yeah, he's feeling a lot of pressure. It's going to be interesting to see if he can get out of this group stage right now. They really need to
Absolutely,
win.
absolutely, man. Look, there have been some surprises. There have been some expected outcomes that we've seen. So let's talk about Portugal. Of course, they've only played one match, right? And it ended up being a draw, a surprising draw, right? But sitting in third place now because of that draw
Yep,
against it was Democratic Republic of Congo, right? Who pulled the draw against them,
that is right.
puts a lot of pressure on him. Puts a lot of pressure on him, man. In this next match coming up, um, how do you see that turning out? Especially, look, we here at the Sports Spotlight do not disparage any team, any team that is in the World Cup. You earned it, you deserve it. kudos to you for making it up there. But Portugal, their challenge is not going to be Uzbekistan. Their challenge is going to be Colombia, right?
Absolutely. Colombia is definitely a perennial power. Uzbekistan, you would expect them to win this game. I think they're playing on Tuesday. But what I'm seeing is that since Ronaldo has so much pressure on him, he's almost wanting to make sure the ball goes through him or he can score rather than just anyone who's available. I've heard some discontent. At least I heard a couple of the analysts talking about. They do feel that he has gotten so much pressure on him that sometimes, I mean, this is a really strong Portugal team, honestly. Even without Ronaldo, this is probably their best chance. But he's almost become like a focus now with Messi doing so well and, Mbappe and everyone else, who, obviously, Erling Haaland. All the stars are out. They're getting their goals. He hasn't got one yet. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see. They need to not only win against Uzbekistan, but have a convincing victory. Whether he scores or not, he should be involved, get an assist. But what I didn't like last game that Portugal had, they didn't let him out at all. Like, at some point, they could have subbed him out and gotten some fresh legs, for the last 15, 20 minutes. I think the coach is just kind of deferring to him as well. So they really need to honestly play better as a team and not necessarily go to Ronaldo. But I feel a lot of pressure on the guy.
Well, so it's not just on the guy, right? I think this type of stuff, and we've seen it. I just enumerated a bunch of examples, and there's so many more out there. We've seen it over and over and over in the world of sports. The pressure cascades. It's not just on him, right?
Oh, yeah.
The pressure is on the coach as well, and I think the coach. It matters if the coach rises up in that pressure moment or if he shrinks. And I think he's shrinking a little bit in that he's just saying, this is my guy, and I'm gonna I'm gonna ride him to victory or loss. And that's not the right approach. I think the pressure is keeping him, the coach, from trusting the rest of the team, from doing the right thing by, as you said, by resting him and see if he can come through, especially in a close match. Obviously, I'm stating the obvious here. If you've got a 2-3 goal lead, it's going to be very easy to as the coach, to put him out. But man, oh man, in a pressure-packed situation, in a close game like this, you have to remember that even the greats, even the all-time greats, need rest. Soccer is a grueling sport, man. It is an absolute, just a gauntlet, right? To try to be out there for most, if not all, of the 90 minutes. It's just, it ain't gonna do it.
Absolutely. And if you've seen recently, I don't know if you've noticed, there's the dehydration break or hydration break. We didn't have that like for the longest time. This just came about I believe in the last World Cup, maybe.
All right. But are we getting soft?
Yeah. I'm just saying that gives a little change from the normal pace of the game. But you're absolutely right. Soccer is a game of stamina, constant running. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he holds up. I do agree with you on that. I think the coach has been maybe not going with what he normally would because he's got a superstar right there. But they really need to play their game and not necessarily go showcase him. You know what I mean? Just get the attack going. And they have to have a convincing win. They definitely got to win this match.
Yeah. All right. Surprising match today. Did you see? Tunisia and Japan. Japan absolutely demolished Tunisia 4-0. Look, I thought that they might win, but they were both in this. They're both in Group F with the Netherlands and Sweden. So you expected Japan and Tunisia to be the two bottom teams, but frankly, coming in, I thought Tunisia might have a little bit of an edge, but boy, I was wrong. Japan has really, really shown something here, both with this huge victory over Tunisia at 4-0, but also the earlier, we had a rash of draws to start this World Cup. And that draw that Japan pulled against the Netherlands was a very, very surprising draw, was it not?
Oh, absolutely. Netherlands. I mean, I think that's one of the favorite teams.
Premium
I mean, that's
teams.
really my team, to be honest. I mean, I've always cheered for the Dutch, and no, they're a strong team, as you've seen, And for Japan to draw with them, they haven't lost a match yet, so they're in a very strong position to go through. I think along with
Uh,
Netherlands from that group,
yeah, look,
playing very well.
I think the fact that they've already drawn with the Netherlands and Sweden already has a loss to the Netherlands. Um, uh, this is going to be tough, right? If Japan pulls off, and I think they're going to have all the confidence um, after destroying Tunisia like this and having that draw against the Netherlands under their belt. In that match against Japan and Sweden, there's going to be we were talking about pressure. There's going to be pressure on Sweden, man. There's going to be so much pressure on
Oh,
Sweden.
absolutely.
Uh, and I think that pressure might actually get to them, and Japan is in a good spot to move forward. It's just this is, I said this last Sunday, and I'll say it again. The group stage in the World Cup, I really, really like, because I think the pressure, yes, when you look at it after the draws are created, you're looking at these groups, and there's obviously a team almost all the time. Once in a while, there's going to be a tie for a couple of favorite teams in a group, but generally, there's going to be a team that's the obvious um, best team in that group. And then there's usually a team that is the obvious bottom, and then the middle teams might be a little questionable, right? But none of that matters as much as winning, or in this case, drawing an improbable draw in that first match. That first match victory or a draw just sets you up so well, so well. And here we are because of that, because Japan was able to pull that off against the Dutch. They're now sitting a point above Sweden. And the thing is, it's that pressure, right? All Japan has to do is not lose. They draw against Sweden, they move on, right? Sweden actually has to win against Japan. And in a game like this, you wrestled in high school just like I did. Um, Soccer, in that regard, even though this is a team sport, soccer is similar to to wrestling, even though there are rules against stalling, right? Remember, stalling would get called. The refs would call it out if it's obvious that you're just stalling. But that's a strategy. That is an absolute strategy. If you've gotten the points, 2, 3, 5 point lead in the first two periods, then you just want to not take much chances. Try to play. In the NFL, we talk about prevent defense
Yep.
only prevents you from winning. But I think these are sports like wrestling, where prevent defense is a real thing toward the end. And I think soccer, from a team sport standpoint, is that you can just fall back and just play defense if you've got a 1 or 2 goal lead. And especially when all you need is just a draw, you don't even need to win. You can just focus on just defend, man. Just stall. Just the clock becomes the enemy. The clock becomes the focus. The clock, running out the clock, becomes the goal at this point. And I think Japan is really, really well set up in this match against Sweden to, at worst, have a tie and move on. It's insane. All right, we've got one other match coming up. And boy, oh boy, this was a big one. Oh, well, this will be a big one because they had a big match. I'm talking about our, I was about to say home country, not really home country, but we grew up there. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yes, That's playing Spain, right?
They are playing Spain, and boy, oh boy, is this a big one. I mean, they pulled a draw against Uruguay in the first match, and now they're playing Spain. Who? What happened to Spain? Tell our listeners what happened to Spain in their last match. Spain against Cabo Verde. That was a draw.
They tied as well. Crazy.
That was a draw. I'm telling you, the rash of draws, the rash of ties to start this World Cup has, I don't know if I've seen this type of a flood, a deluge of draws to start, right? It's just been, it's crazy.
Yeah, especially that group. Like everyone tied those two games, so everyone has 1 point.
Everybody has one point.
Really, anyone's game, like these second matches, if they go Saudi Arabia and Spain, for example, yeah, they definitely can get a leg up. Spain's a hard team to beat, though.
Oh, they are.
They're one of the
faves.
favorites.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely. But I mean, here we go again. As I said, that first match really sets you up. Guess who's going to be feeling the pressure here? Is it going to be Saudi Arabia or is it going to be Spain? Because
Spain.
Yeah, because they didn't get that victory in that first match, Spain. Here we go. The pressure is going to be on them. And look, I know, we often talk about the quality of our experience growing up there. But between these two teams, I'm going to be pulling for Saudi Arabia today. And that match is going to start very, very soon, man. In about a half hour, it gets going. And I will absolutely be there for a Saudi tie or a victory over Spain.
Well, remember what they did last World Cup? They started their World Cup beating Messi and Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely have the capability to pull an upset.
Yeah, I mean, they were, as we said earlier, they were the eventual champs. So, and it's happening right, across the nation in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Starting in about a half hour. It's going to be a one to watch for sure. I mean, look, I'm stating the Captain Obvious here. There's only one World Cup match today. One morning World Cup match today. So yeah, it's going to be the one to watch. Once it wraps up, or it's going to be very, very close to being done, is when Belgium and Iran get going. And okay, now we're going to get into a little bit of a questionable territory. So here we are, Group G, another group with 4 teams with 1 point each because of these ties. So today, Belgium and Iran play. Egypt and New Zealand, Egypt and Belgium had a draw before, which was very surprising. But Iran and New Zealand had also drawn at 2-2 in that last match. And I said, we're getting into questionable territory. What are your thoughts? And actually, has he been allowed back yet? The player for Iran who, just like, so many players do, he scores a goal, he's excited, he does the gesture, and he got deported.
No, I don't think that actually happened. I think that wasn't true. He's still there.
Oh.
Yeah, that wasn't actually true. I followed up on that. I'm going to double check right now when we come back from break. But I believe he's playing.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, I saw that fly across my ticker, and I was like, that's unfortunate and uncalled for.
They're already having such a tough time having to fly right after their matches. I mean, it's really crazy what they're having to go through just to play their game.
Exactly, because look, this is not about the political side or the confrontational side of it. This is not about the government side of it. These are players, man. And the athletic fraternity includes all athletes across the world. So, as far as I'm concerned, these are athletes trying to play a game. We've got to be better as hosts. We've got to be better at treating them with these are athletes who are just trying to play the game. We need to treat them or extend the same dignity and respect that we extend to any other team participating in this World Cup.
Otherwise it goes against the whole fair play FIFA. I mean, it doesn't even make sense, to be honest.
Yep. No, I'm with you. All right. I'm gonna be with you during this break. Another long break coming up. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes. You're listening to the Sports Spotlight right here on Radio Azad with more World Cup in 5 minutes.
This is Radio Azad, streaming in Dallas, Fort Worth and all around the world.
आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो आजाद हम सफर